Hi, I'm Margaret, and these lovely little Portuguese tarts are something I've been meaning to make for such a long time. I'm going to start with some flaky pastry, and I'm using shopboard to show you just how easy these are. Let's put a bit of flour underneath first. There's a fine line between leaving your pastry out of the fridge long enough to unroll without cracking and leaving it out too long so that it sticks to itself. Anyway, let's pop a bit of butter on here. We'll spread it out as even as we can, just a small thin layer. And then let's start to roll this up. It needs to be quite tight. The tighter the better. There we go. Now let's pop it in a little bit of cling film. You can pop it in the fridge overnight, but I'm in a bit of a hurry today, so I'm going to pop it into the freezer for a few minutes. There we go. It's much more solid now. I'll just neaten off the ends first, and then cut this into 12. In half and half again, and then let's mark each piece into 3 smaller pieces. You can see how beautifully round they are now. I might need a little bit of water though to stick that last little bit together. We don't want them unravelling as they cook. So a little bit of butter in a shallow tart tray, and one of these little rounds into each crevice. Now the trick is to push your thumb into the centre of each one and then gently pull out the edges to make a nice little tart shell. Let's do that with each one. There we go. Last little one. Push into the centre and pull out the sides. Now to make each one even, the end of my rolling pin just fits beautifully into there. I've floured the end so it doesn't stick, but this should give it a good capacity for plenty of filling. So I'll just cover that up and pop it into the fridge while I make that filling. And let's start with the sugar syrup. A little water and plenty of sugar. These tarts are ever so sweet. Vanilla extract and the zest of 1 lemon. This will give it a lovely flavour. And then finally, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Or you can pop in a cinnamon stick if you'd rather. Now I've got this on quite a low heat, just to make sure that the sugar dissolves first. And once the sugar has dissolved, let's turn up the heat and get it bubbling. It needs to reach a good temperature. Here it comes. It's starting to come to a bubble now. And I'm going to let it bubble for a few minutes to reach the temperature it needs to be. And then once it's bubbled, I'll turn the heat off and let it settle. Now I'm going to use this pan for the custard. So I'm going to pop this into a jug. And that needs to cool a little. So for the custard, we need milk and flour and a little bit of salt. I'm going to give that a good whisk before I even put the heat on. And then I'm going to pop it on low and keep whisking. If I don't whisk this all the time, it will become lumpy. We just want it to become thick. There we go. You can see just how thick that is. Okay, now this needs to cool. Very important before we put the eggs in. We don't want them to scramble. A couple of eggs first, and then let's pop the rest in and give them a thorough whisk. That makes it a beautiful yellow colour. And then the syrup, which will add the flavour. A little bit at a time. We've got the lemon zest in there, the vanilla, the cinnamon. So all that will add the flavour. And these are beautifully sweet. When it's thoroughly whisked, we need to strain it. We want it nice and smooth, so that zest and any of the egg that isn't smooth too. Then we pour it into those little tart cases, just about 3/4 of the way up. Not too high, because with all those eggs, it's going to rise beautifully. I've made double the amount in the description below, because I'm going to make 24 of these little beauties. So, ready to go into the oven. And there we go, beautifully golden. A little bit of cinnamon on top, and they're ready to eat. These are gorgeous. What a treat. They're quite unique, and look at that lovely spire on the bottom too. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week. Catch you soon.